This is an emergency broadcast for any one of you that are in these major cities or states. This is insider information of established riots and protests that are happening on the 14th of this month. There is a website called nokings.org that was created by organizers to establish meeting points and even have a means of communication with other protesters across the nation. When you began to dig into the website, you realize how professionally orchestrated these protests really are. You guys really need to share this video. Let's dig into it. On June 14th, we rise up. Find an event near you on the map below. For a special note on Washington, D.C., click here. The article goes on to say, look at how aggressive this is, by the way. On June 14th, Flag Day, Donald Trump wants tanks in the street and a made-for-TV display of dominance for his birthday. Instead of allowing this birthday parade to be the center of gravity, we will make action everywhere else the story of America that day. This is the map from nokings.org that organizers are encouraging other protesters that want to participate in protests to find events in their cities. If you ask me, this is extremely alarming that they were able to orchestrate this large of an event. Imagine if what is going on in Los Angeles breaks out across the nation. For those of you that live in the cities or state on the map that I just showed you, you need to be following along with me right now. Tonight, this organizing group is having a massive Zoom call meeting Monday, June 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom, and you can register to listen in. If you ask me, I think it's in our best interest to know what they have planned. This is bigger than people think. Look at how many people have signed up over people just sharing this event with other friends. 1,533,040 people. The website is nokings.org. Remember, guys, and don't forget to share this video. We need to get this information out. And comment in the comment section what city and state you live in that are hosting these protests.
Alright, Shalom, Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
I'm definitely giving all glory and the praises to YAHAWAH,
BAHASHAM,
YAHAWASHI,
BAHASHAM,
QADASH. My brother Moore for down Tempe, Florida. Next to me, I have.
Brother Tazwan.
Alright, double answer. That was an apostle, MILLSTONE, teaching well. Peace and blessings to the brothers supporting this work and truth sincerity to this guy, the broad. Alright, and as you see in the video, alright, you got all these riots that's taking place. Alright, pretty much all around the world. Alright. Which we know in these times, as the scriptures will say, you know, we're going to see uproars, all right, of the people, you know, we're going to see all the, you know, sedition, okay, we're going to see all these things prior to the signs of seeing the, you know, the Lord's visiting this place, man. Mm-hmm. All right, according to prophecy. All right, and this is all, you know, of prophecy, man. All right, when you start seeing, all right, things all around the world, all right, turn up. All right, and now to start hitting here in America, it's only, you know, but little of time this place got before it's, you know, completely, utterly destroyed. All right, so, you know, we're going to get ready to these scriptures. All right, just bringing it out and touching up on this topic. All right, because this point right here, all right, the times that we're seeing, all right, with these people rioting, destroying property, breaking and entering, all right, being complete, you know, violent in the streets, it's only going to get worse.
All right.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 3 in the NLT. Later, YAHAWASHI sat on the Mount of Olives. His disciples came to him privately and said, "Tell us, when will all this happen? What sign will signal your return and the end of the world?"
Right. So they was inquiring, you know, asking, you know, when would these, you know, things, you know, pop off, you know, and it's going to read on and tell you. Go ahead.
Yahawashi told them, don't let anyone mislead you. Because you got false prophets coming out saying that, shit, we're going to be here for another 1,000 years,
right?
Another 500, another 100 years. Nah, man, we might be very well out of here this year, you know.
Very much this year, you know,
we seeing all the signs take place,
right?
Okay, and that's why the prophets are out on the scene now as it is. And even that in itself is a sign that the prophets are on the scene. It's a sign that false prophets are on the scene. All these things were signs of the end, okay? It says, for many will come in my name claiming I'm the Messiah. They will deceive many. All these false camps claiming that they got the true doctrine, okay, deceiving many people. All right, you got IUIC got 1,000-man march or 5,000-man march, whatever it was.
Right.
But they got a lot of men that have been deceived, okay, and other people that have been, and more people are just going to get deceived closer as we get to the end, man. Okay, but the truth will prevail. It says, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately, because there's still more that we got to go through. But we've already been through the signs of hearing of wars and rumors of wars, okay, since 2020. Shit, before that we've been hearing of wars and rumors of wars.
Right. It's only, you know, escalated from, you know, that time period to now, and we're seeing you know, get even closer, you know, more and more every day.
Right.
You know, to them, you know, shooting nukes, man.
Right.
All right, pushing that big red button. All right, but there's still other things that have to take place. Okay, according to prophecy. Okay, we're in the times where, you know, we're going to see so much going on left and right. You know, it's going to have brothers not only, you know, in the rejoicing spirit, but we're going to be in the serious spirit. You know, because we're seeing the downfall, all right, of our enemies, you know, who have ruled for so long. Okay, which we know as we usher in this kingdom through the Spirit of BAHASHAM, that our righteous one is about to be established, man. Okay, and there's no one, you know, no one can do nothing about it, man. Okay, you know, it's going to happen regardless. You know, so we're in some beautiful times, you know, but yet, you know, serious at that too.
Right.
You got
it says, nation will go to war against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world.
So there'll be famines, earthquakes, all right, you know, these things in many parts of the world. Okay, all around the world you're going to be seeing, all right, these things happening more frequently, okay, rapidly. All right, and these were signs that were, you know, that was going to be shown, all right, to let you know that, you know, we're almost out of here, man. Okay, so seeing these people, you know, rioting in the streets, you know, you look at LA, you know, look how that's going with this ICE, you know, attack. Really, it's ICE attack. You know, you got
now they got the military backing them.
Yeah, you got the Marines firing, you know, troops or whatever you want to call it, you know, soldiers. All right.
These are war troops, man.
Yeah.
Really, this is about to turn into an all-out war. They're going to wage a war against Israel.
Well, what they're going to do too is also, you know, very much probably bringing that martial law.
Yep,
you know,
and the MOTB following.
Yeah, because all this happening simultaneously is what these devils want. Because let's not forget, you know, Esau has a thing where he call, you know, a saying, right, order out of chaos.
Yeah.
See, so they want chaos to, you know, to brew up, so that they can bring in, you know, that order. And this is going to be very much of a good strategy, okay, to usher in a new way of that agenda or in that system, because it's chaos in the streets and they're going to have to establish something different. You see? So, you know, don't let it fool you, man. And this is another thing that's going to give them all authority to, you know, furthermore push what Trump has been trying to, you know, sign off with these executive orders, because, you know, he's been talking about trying to bring in, you know, these, you know, harsh executions. Okay, you already had with the, what is it, DOD, all right, I believe it's the defense of, the Department of Defense, where they said that they gonna start using lethal force amongst the civilians, man. So this is only a, you know, much a setup for it, man.
Yep.
All right.
It says, but all this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come.
So this is all, the beginning stages of it. The beginning of sorrows. It's only just going to get worse here in America. These people, storming and acting a fool out here. Yeah, it's going to be, 24 hours of this, man. What happens when these lights go out? What happens then? They're conditioning these, people, man, to really allow themselves to act a fool. All right, they're just using them as lab rats in a way, puppets. Conditioning for something that they're waiting to use. Esau never let prices go to waste. Okay.
It says in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Woo. That's right.
Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
Right, so this was already, set up to play out the way it is now. Okay, however it's going to play out, it was already ordained to happen. You see? So, one way or another, it was gonna go according to how the Lord set it up, according to His will. You see? So when you seeing uproars and you seeing earthquakes around the world, all right, you see all this chaos popping off, the Lord set up, for it to be this way. If you can grab, shot trumpet be blowing in the city, and talking about, because that's the main reason, brothers. Another reason why brothers are out in the highways and hedges and doing these lessons too, because we're letting you know through the Spirit by BAHASHAM with through these scriptures, all right, that this is what's going to happen. All right, setting up that stage, that, you getting that fair warning before all hell breaks loose. Truly, at its maximum peak. You see, you got Jacob's trouble. You got all these devils coming down having great wrath. Insurrection. All right, even talking about that. You see, go ahead.
Well, because these things have been prophesied of old, and brothers been saying it. Like when we've been back in 2020, we were seeing the riots happen in these other countries. What we were saying, hey, it's coming here soon.
Right,
it's coming here next.
Yeah.
Okay, and now here it is. Okay, and it's getting worse. And these ain't just no ordinary peaceful protests or protests. You got agent provocateurs in these riots.
Yeah.
Okay, you got crisis actors within these riots. Okay, so they're basically Babylon's fanning the flame. Okay, to control the narrative. They want to usher in the NWO, like Brother Amawah said. Okay, so here it is. These riots are getting worse and spreading out. Somehow they got a map for where the riot's going to be at this Saturday on June 10th. What was it? What's the date? June 11th. So it's going to be on June 14th, where the riot's supposedly supposed to be happening all around the country.
Right.
Or how do you get a map? How can you predict where there's going to be riots?
Right, and that's when you kind of think about those. This thing is being staged out.
Yep.
Because Esau knows how to put on a show.
Right.
He knows how to do that, and setting it up where like you said, they got these goddamn what they call them again, provocative
agent provocateurs.
Yeah, they going out there and they escalating the situations, acting like they on the opposite side.
Yeah.
The whole time they working for these devils on the other side, setting up breaks on the other side. You know what I'm saying? They all staging this, man.
Well, an article just came out where I just did a lesson on it yesterday, where they had people in the riots passing out police grade equipment, knee pads, face shields, elbow shield, all this armor. They said this was police grade armor, and these guys, we couldn't identify them. Like, they were covered up, so we didn't know whether they were with us or against us, where they came from, who they were standing for. They just dropped those equipment out and left. Okay, so what does that tell you? Where can you get police grade equipment and armor? Okay, you can't just go into Walmart and buy this shit, man.
Right.
All right, and they had enough to just hand it out in a riot, you know. So these things are being orchestrated, as the brother said. It says in the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 6, shall the trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it?
Right. And we know the Lord's in control of all these things, man. You see, with that tying that back up with 2nd Ezra 9 and 1. You see? So when you would see these things, know that, you know, the Lord is getting ready to visit this place. You see? You know, exactly at the end of this, you know, at the end of this shit, you know, you're gonna know, all right, that a prophet have been among you, man. You're gonna know that you was born. You know, these people are very, very, very naive to what was, you know, the right thing. But when it comes to the wrong thing, they're straight head for it. Especially Jake. You see, you see a bunch of Jake out there protesting. You know what I'm saying? You got it over in LA, where you got Issachar, man, which is the so-called Mexican out there swinging the flags and all up on these devils. Okay, well soon they finna retaliate, and when they retaliate, they ain't gonna take their you know, they ain't gonna be just out here just acting, you know, friendly with you. You know, they ain't gonna be nice like they is now. They hardly you know, reacting. Nah, man, they gonna start blowing Jake ass down. It's gonna be a slaughter, man. They just waiting on the time for them to do it. You see?
Yeah. Yeah, Trump had a clear target on you niggas, man.
Oh, yeah, this is going to give him more reason why.
Yep.
He's like, oh, the blacks in there, too. So, a whole bunch of... Well, he just identified, you know, they want to get rid of all the criminals, man. This is giving a whole huge opportunity for them to start taking, you know?
Yeah, and they were interviewing that one of the rioters, or the so-called protesters, and then they were saying, why would they drop this equipment out here? That's just going to make us look more dangerous and give the government all the more reason to use deadly force against us. Okay, so who do you think really put that equipment out there for them, that armor out there for them to make them seem more deadly? It's going to justify a more deadly response.
Exactly.
It says in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 3 in the NLT, the vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed.
It said it will be fulfilled. Prophecy will be fulfilled. All right, we're telling you that through the Spirit of BAHASHAM outside, there's, you know, these devils gonna come down and have a great wrath, man. All right, Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, nukes hitting ground zero. This is all coming, man. Though it seems slow to have an impact, wait for it.
Yep, and the worse these things get, the more people going to try to seek the truth. Yep. The more people going to try to start to seek out the instructions from the scriptures, because they're going to say, man, this sounds like something biblical. Maybe we should actually go and pay attention to what the Bible says to see what's going to happen next. But by then, the prophet's going to be withdrawn from the streets. They ain't going to have nobody to break it down to them. Okay, it's going to be like reading a map to a place you've never been to.
All right, which shall withdraw itself?
Yep. Understanding shall hide itself in a secret chamber. Okay, the Lord gonna draw his prophets back and make the tongues of our mouths clean to the roofs of our mouths, because you niggas ain't want it when it was out here and it was hot and ready. But when you getting your ass beaten, your head bashed in, and your family members dying, then you gonna want it. But the Lord ain't gonna give it to you.
Yeah. Then the chaos is gonna settle in on you. Then all the what's wreaking havoc gonna have you shooken up. Then you see, then you gonna want to seek answers, and there ain't gonna be no answers there for you. You see?
For closing precept, unless you got anything else.
You get it.
It says in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33 and verse 33 in the NLT, but when all these terrible things happen to them, as they certainly will, then they will know a prophet has been among them.
It said, then when these terrible things happen to them, we were just telling you, you know, when you start seeing all these terrible things happen, these people start coming to their wits and they start realizing, oh shit, what is going on? Life is not as normal as it was anymore.
Where's the prophets?
Where's those guys who was telling us this was happening? This was going to happen. You know? Then that's when it's going to click.
Then you ain't going to care about cuss words.
Yeah.
You know, they come up, are you cussing? The Bible says no cursing. Yeah, you ain't gonna care about cuss words then. You just gonna want instructions and the truth. You ain't gonna care about this breakdown or that breakdown. You gonna want instructions. And a lot of people gonna go right to the false prophets for these instructions and get that MOTB and sunk inside their skin, man.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna be set up because the Lord gonna draw his prophets back. He only gonna give this truth, man. That's right. In those last days. You got anything else?
Yeah. Hey, beautifully said, bro. So as you know, it's only gonna get much worse here in America, man. See, people were talking about, they wanted to be back normal. Well, then you don't went from it being goddamn so-called normal after the C-19. Now you got it all riots all around the world. You see, Scripture says, evil shall grow.
Right. Beautiful.
So we're in those times, man. And just expect worse and expect more to come. All right.
Right, so now you got the riots, right? Boom, sicknesses. Oh shit, everybody getting sick. Why are people getting sick? Boom, the sword coming down.
Right.
Oh shit, they shooting. Everybody shooting? You're like, boom, ain't no food in the stores. People start saying, what the fuck going on? Why is this all happening at once?
Simultaneously.
Yeah, we need those guys. Where are those guys at? They were on the highways and hedges.
Yeah. So hey, there it is right there. So man, just make this quick and low with an edifying to you, YAHAWAH, seeking Lord true sincerity. We're going to close it out by giving all glory and praises to
YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH.
Once again, double honor to that was an apostle, MILLSTONE teacher. Until next time we say, Shalom.